everyone. Hello, I'm Sam,
I'm Matt,
and today we're going to be reviewing
Doctor Who.
That Much Is True. This episode being called Lie of That Land. A good title, right?
I suppose.
Yeah. So this episode started off, as you can remember last time, Bill had a bit of a whoopsie and ruined everything. So the doctor's doing his broadcasts. He's in favour of the monks. Everyone thinks the monks have been there forever, but really they've only been there a couple months. We know that, and certain other individuals know that, but the grand majority don't. So yeah, she's kind of, I don't know, she sits down and talks to her mum, doesn't she? Even though her mum isn't there, her mum just sits there looking kind of like whatever. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Eventually Nardole pops back up. I thought he was good this episode.
Yeah, it
This,
was fun. We added some energy to it, but my initial thoughts going into this episode, kind of as they played out, I was like, I feel like I've seen this.
it,
Not just in other shows, in this show.
yeah, it's the Martha Jones with the master thing.
Yeah, and Donna with turn left or whatever that was, and there was even. In fact, I think Rose was the same one. Didn't Rose come back in the fourth season? Yeah, so it's the same thing. But I feel like I've seen this already.
Yeah, so you weren't impressed.
No, not really. I thought it was. I mean, we'll get into breaking down the episode, but I'll say overall, I thought it was an interesting experiment, if you like, to do like a three-parter or a loose three-parter. But I don't think any of the three worked
Oh no.
as a whole. I thought there were interesting bits of every one of them, but as a whole, I don't think all three worked.
So you feel it should have been a four-parter?
No, I think it should have been a one-parter.
Alright, okay then. So yeah. So I like Nardole in the episode, he was pretty good. Eventually they find Doctor Who and is on a boat,
Hmm.
and then they're having a discussion, and Doctor Who's kind of like, not giving it up, you know what I mean? And then Bill gets pushed to our limits and pops him quite, quite a few times.
That seemed to come out of nowhere, though.
Well, you know what I
I
mean?
don't think there was enough build-up for that. Just for her to snap and shoot him. I will say, I'm glad. I'm glad we moved pretty quickly. I was fearful that we were going to have to sit and watch as she faffs around in the world and show us what it's like for 20 odd minutes before we got moving. I like that we got Nardole quickly and we moved to the doctor pretty quickly. And then they do this scene and they do the fake out thing again.
Yeah, the regeneration looked good. But yeah, it turns out I don't really get that. So what? He can turn it on whenever he wants, or
Yes.
or force himself to do the effects or whatever. So really, he could just like self heal like all the time. He could just go
I
around.
don't know if he heals. I guess he can regenerate when he wants to. I suppose.
Uh,
I mean, has that ever happened before?
well, no, but if you remember the kind of they do a bit on the 50th anniversary, like there's a little like webisode of like Paul McGann, and like he just went and drank like a potion. It's like, well, if it because he felt like he needed to regenerate. In that case, why didn't he just pull that then? Why did he have to poison himself?
I don't know. And yeah, I suppose there's some precedent, and loosely, it's not quite the same thing. But the Time Lords forced who was it? What, the second Doctor to regenerate? So it's not like he has to be on death, the verge of death every time. But still, I mean, did anyone really think he was going to regenerate? It's episode what, 8, 9 of the season. There's no way it was going to happen.
Well, there's the next episode's the Mars episode, and
Yeah.
then there's only 3 episodes left. And I mean, there's been talk it's going to be a long regeneration, so I
Right, but by a
figured,
long regeneration, it will cut into the Christmas special. Think of the ratings. There's no way they're gonna do a regeneration in the middle of the season, especially with the producer going out. No, it will regenerate in the special.
I wonder, like, when I go on YouTube later, I wonder how many reaction videos, how many girls are gonna, like, start crying before they realise it's fake. You know?
None, because they want the super hot young Doctor back.
Well, I like Peter Capaldi.
I don't know why, but let's face it.
Yeah, so eventually they think, okay, here's a plan. Let's ask Missy. Maybe she knows something. So they go see Missy, and then she's like, "Oh, I've had adventures too. I've come across them, and you got to kill the link. Whoever asked them for help, just pop them one time, and then problem solved." And then she talks about how when she came up against them, like that one was like a little girl, so she pushed her into a volcano. So that was an interesting kind of anecdote. So now I'm interested what's gonna go on with her now, because she's on this quest to be good, and they said that apparently the two masters are gonna be at odds. But it's interesting because John Sim was kind of good at the end when he last appeared, because he helped get rid of the Time
Yeah,
Lords.
kind of. I mean, I like that she called the Doctor on trying to own morality, and like his version of the good is the only. I thought that was a good line. As far as what they do with Missy, I mean, I figure they'll probably do something similar to the way John Sim went out. Like she'll sacrifice herself and then pop back up eventually, because that's always the route they eventually. Not with all the masters, but with like the original master, Roger Delgado. He died, I think, right before
In a
they
car
could write him
crash.
off. Yeah,
Drove
but
his car off a cliff.
yeah. Well, he didn't. It was someone was driving for him, poor bastard. But yeah, he was meant to die. His version, the master, was meant to die by sacrificing himself, and I guess that's something they keep on playing out. And they kind of did it with the John Sim one. I think they'll do that with Missy as well, and then the master will probably be gone for a couple of years, and then he'll be back.
So yeah, basically, long story short, I mean they get to like wherever they get to. Is it like a pyramid or something?
I don't know.
Or
There's an alien and there's a mummy thing in the chair. That's all I really remember.
yeah, with a little headset on, and it's like Doctor Who's like, okay, I'm gonna lay hands on it, and I'm gonna fix history by erasing them and like fixing whatever. So he does it, but is not strong enough, so he gets laid out on the floor, and then Bill decides, if Doctor Who can't do it, it must be a job for a human. So she does it, and then it's all going apart, and then he's panicking, scrabbling on the floor, and then she starts thinking of her mum, which, I mean, this is meant to be like the clever writing twist where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, thank God we took pictures of her in the first episode, or that would have been quite that wouldn't have ended so well.
You know, I just wasn't. I love the show, I do, but I think I'm a bit jaded on at least this incarnation of it. I feel like I've seen this so many times. You know, oh, it looks like someone's going to sacrifice themselves, but then the Doctor makes some big speech, and we have some swirling, inspirational music in the background, and then it tugs on your heartstrings, and it pulls something in from earlier in the season, and that's all lovely, and it wraps up in a neat bow. Like I've seen it. Do something new, killer. That'll be cool.
What did you think of Nardol's Vulcan death grip?
I don't even remember it.
Oh, he stands behind that guy and then just like Vulcan death grips him.
That's badass.
But they call it something else. It's like the something neck pinch. So that was a pretty cool reference. So yeah, they kind of go about their business, and that's kind of it really. Problem solved.
And it ends with Missy and the Master again. I guess that's Missy and the Master, the Doctor and Missy again. What I get and she's crying for some reason. I guess she's been to feel guilt for all her sins and whatnot. So, but it does seem to be that's the path they're going towards, right? That's where we're heading for the finale. It's going to be Master against Missy. I suppose I'm interested in seeing that. It's just, I think that I stand by what I said. I thought it's an interesting experiment. I don't think it's worked. Maybe if all 3 episodes were strong, I would have been more into this one. but it just felt like we kind of clugged along. We had a couple of good parts in each episode. We had the ending of the first one was kind of interesting, but everything leading up to it. Uh, I can't, to be honest, I can't even remember the last episode. And then this one, I did it. It moved at a good pace. It didn't drag. I was just never pulled in though.
Strong words. Yeah, I'll agree. It just seemed like there was no element of threat.
No, there was no threat.
That they kind of made it to be like there was, but really there wasn't. Like, oh, you know what I mean? Because they could have literally, Doctor Who could have done nothing, and like literally nothing would have changed for the whole. Like it would have just carried on the same 6 months for like however down the line. It's not like, oh, the planet's gonna blow up or anything like that. So really, there was no uh, initial danger, a clear
I,
and present one.
I don't think the zombie mummy things, whatever they're called, I don't think they've worked. I think they're a memorable monster. It's a shame. I mean, it's hit out the park a couple of times, especially with the Weeping Angels, obviously, but I just don't think this one worked.
Okay, let's talk numbers.
Yeah, for the episode itself, I'll give it a 7. I don't think it's. Of the three, I think this is the one I enjoyed the most.
I'll give it. I'll give it a 7.2. Around the same.
7.2.
Yeah, around the same. I was torn between 7.5, but really, I couldn't. How would you put it? Pull enough merit, as it were. But I mean, it wasn't bad. It was just like a Who episode. I can think of worse ones.
So can I. There's plenty of worse ones.
Well, there we go
I
then.
can think of worse ones this season.
So yeah, I'm Sam,
I'm not.
and you know we're gonna see you in the next episode.